It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Good evening. Happy New Year, Aston Villa fans. And welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe. Make sure to smash the like button on this video. And follow me on Spotify, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. Let's spread awareness about Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This evening, I'm joined by my special guest, Amar, who is a co-host on Fossehub and Aston Villa fan, Niall Donlan, which you all know is a great friend of mine. And it's the new year. The great content is back again. And this year, I'm going to keep being consistent with the content. I've got some great ideas lined up. I'm going to get some big name guests on the show this year. And I've even got a live in-person event coming up in the next few months. And this is the match preview. Aston Villa versus Leicester City. This is I've been doing the pre-match talk show. And it's East Midlands against West Midlands. The Midlands Derby at Villa Park. The Foxes are looking to turn around their season with their new manager, Ruben Nistelrooy. And can Aston Villa start the new year with a good start? Pleased to have you both on the show this evening. How are you?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah, happy New Year to everybody. And yeah, it's just it's a big game. It's a big game, and yeah, I think with both of us, I think we're probably looking to start the year off right. So no, but it should be a good show, man.
Yeah, and happy New Year as well.
Yeah, happy New Year, Chad. It's good to be back on as well. You keep up the good work and all that in the coming year. I'm sure you will. You've got some good guests coming up, I've heard. So
it's always a pleasure having you on the show, Niall.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that, Chad. And it was nice to see you as well over the New Year. Over the Christmas period as well.
So let's talk about the football then. So we're in a new year now. I don't think Villa can make what's like clean. So what is your thoughts from the Brighton game, Niall?
Well, I thought we were very wasteful in front of goal, to be honest. It's probably a fair result, really, on the grand scheme of things, because obviously there's still them defensive problems that we've got going on. Very sloppy, I thought, especially for the equaliser. Shouldn't be allowing a right back to do that. Positives would be, I think, Rodgers again proving that he's just a great player, isn't he? Really, great number 10, stroke winger. But again, it's just 2 points being thrown away because, and it's another result where we've won that game 6-1 last season.
Yes,
and we drew it to all this year.
Yeah.
Frustrating because you want to at least break even on the points that you got last year against teams. We are a better side than Brighton. We've got a better manager than Brighton.
Yes. I agree. But the thing with Brighton, they deserve that draw. And as a Villa fan after that game, I was very disappointed with the result. But also, when I looked at the Premier League table, it was a real missed opportunity. But we could have gone top 6.
Well, yeah, this is the thing.
Are we 9th now, are we? Or is it 10th?
9th, yeah. Because it's very congested up there. It is frustrating because we haven't been firing all season, really. But we still only like a couple of wins. Well, we were only 1 win off going into the top 6. So because it's so congested, I feel like we're just wasting an opportunity, really. Because I don't feel like anyone's grasping grasping that. Apart from Newcastle have come into a bit of form now,
Yeah.
but they weren't really firing really until about
No.
November time.
You can't think we've been all over the place. I mean, defensively, very sloppy.
That's been going on for 12 months now.
And these goals, these mistakes, they keep repeating themselves over and over again. It's something that we need to learn from. Defensively, it's too easy.
Yeah.
But we look very shaky defensively. And I think you look at this season, it's been our biggest weakness. Teams are starting to find us out.
The thing is, it was last season as well. Papers over the cracks because we finished in the top 4, but we weren't good. We weren't really good last season at the back. And I always go back to the Tyrone Mings injury.
Yeah.
And because we were very solid with Konza and Mings in the back end
Mm-hmm.
of Emery's first season, we were getting a lot of clean sheets in that run toward getting into the Conference League, and then all of a sudden Mings gets injured at Newcastle. And we haven't been the same at the back ever since, to be honest. I don't believe, anyway.
And I looked at our goal difference, and I think it's like -3 or something, but we need to improve that goal difference in the new year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because I think it could cost us at the end of the season. Amar, would you like to add anything to that? What were you made of Villa this season so far?
Yeah, it's a bit peculiar as well because I'd say, I mean, I used to dream of back in the days when we were like in and around like the top 6 and stuff, but like we just seem like a million miles away from where we were now. But yeah, for you guys as well, I mean, last season, like getting into the top 4 and securing Champions League, that's just like such an achievement like in its own right.
Yep.
And I think like it was so weird as well when like I felt like there was some restrictions from like PSR that you had to like sell DRB and then like just clear some spit like with Douglas Luiz as well going out just to like just for the sake of like to try and secure funds so you weren't going over the limits, which I just found ridiculous at the time. And like that's just me like coming from me as well. And it was but yeah, I think it's been a steady form, bit indifferent. I think like I look at the reverse fixture, like, and I know it was at the start of the season as well. You guys came to the King Power, and I felt like we gave you a game in essence. I think overall we had more possession.
Yeah.
I think it was just our case of with Cooper's selection at the time and playing 3 CDMs, persisting with Jordan Ayew. There just wasn't really the right balance to our side to actually pose a real threat to kind of challenge you guys. And even though you had like patchy moments, you came up with individual moments of brilliance that saw you through and got yourselves the win. Obviously, I think, just like I think there's been some sort of good performances as well. I took note of the Man City game where you really hard on transition, and I thought like, okay, yeah, with Morgan Rogers and with Durant and just all these like you just hit them hard and fast, and like you look at dangerous sides like when you're on it and stuff, and it's definitely for our sake and our defense and stuff something definitely to be wary of. You can be a really good team on your day, and it's just like even if we are at our best, like if you guys can really sort of like find a real tune, then
you're in the relegation zone at the moment, aren't you, Leicester City?
Yeah. It's it's pretty dismal end to the year. I mean, like we did sack Cooper, we got in Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was my personal sort of like favourite to try and take over from Cooper. I just think like with Leicester fans, I think just hiring Cooper was just a big, massive mistake from the start.
Yeah, I never thought it was going to go well. When I saw it, I was never convinced.
It was just it wasn't necessarily the Forest connections. It was just what happened at Forest and how it all sort of fell away and how they lost any sort of structure and how it's just so negative and like just set up to part the bus and not really attack teams until you really went behind. And it's not the right sort of work ethic and attitude that we want to be posing as like in terms of our philosophy as a club. And we just weren't in tune with it, especially when you looked at Enzo Moretti from last season, how it was so progressive and like there was so much to look forward to. Like when we're on the ball, we could show so much of our qualities, and we're hoping for that this season. If Enzo left, but trying to look for a manager that saw that way as well. And when we hired Cooper, I think from the outside looking in, it's just like, okay, we'll just get 17th, do a job, stay in the league, which sounds great. And listen, I think that's still our remit, but I just didn't see how it was going to work with Cooper. I just didn't see results going our way. We had an easier set of fixtures in the first half of the season, and we didn't capitalize on it and get the points to get ahead of ourselves. So, yeah, and then we just it all just sort of fell away. He was just completely out of favor with the fans, with the players. Just it was uproar behind the scenes with him. Just no one was on board with whatever he was trying to do. We hired him, Rude, and it's just he hasn't had no preseason. He's got barely any of his staff in. He's had 6 games in the matter of 3 weeks. It's just all like he's literally had to try and hit the ground running, and at the minute he's just, you can see ideas that he's trying to do. I just don't think he's got the quality of players to be able to pull it off at the minute.
And the players, they need to put their mind to it as well.
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of things. It's like that's just a lack of ability or a lack of confidence, or just like that's just been distraught from when Cooper was in, and they're just not really sort of like it's just so many occasions as well where we're the architects of our own downfall in terms of just trying to deal with dangers that you should clear your lines, get it out of there, but they failed to do that. They failed to get themselves in position on time when defending crosses, or like just in being hit hard in transition by other teams. And it's just like, it's just we never really sort of see any progress with any of these players, but we're kind of hoping, and we're literally reaching for this January window to try and like get some of players that could help Rude out a bit, and like then we start seeing more of his system, more of his
And the thing is as well, do you need results to go your way as well?
Absolutely. It's we've especially a few days ago, Ipswich getting the win against Chelsea, that's just put us in the dent, and now we're 19th.
That's a bad result,
Awful result for us. Palace has started winning, and you look at their team on paper, it's like, they should be absolutely fine if they stick to their plan and keep a consistent run of form and enough. Everton, Sean Dyche, like they may not like him, but he'll get a tune out of that team. He'll make them defensively resolute, and he'll get a tune out of them. So really, it's just Wolves who, yes, have sacked their manager and had a bounce and stuff, but if Cunha is out for whatever reason, then there's not too much quality there. But at the minute, we got to show more of ourselves, and we need something to go our way. So we're kind of looking at this heading into this time, thinking, okay, like some decent bits of patterns of play from the Liverpool game, the Man City game, but we really need to start getting a complete performance out of it. And if that could start against Villa, that would be absolutely huge for us.
Hopefully not. And the rest guy, what a job he's doing at Chelsea. I'm just thinking, I'm Leicester City again. Do you know what be flying right now? We will be doing at least a lot better.
Yeah, I think with some fans, they may sort of sit here and argue, well, if we did play his way, then we'd be far too expansive, far too open, and like we'd be hit on the counter attack far too many times, and we'd be like not with the players that we've got. And I think it's like they're true to an extent, but I think when they looked at last season, we had to have a ridiculously high line, because there were just constantly teams in the Championship that were parking the bus against us to try and stop us. And I think when it came to the games where we were up against Premier League teams like in the Cups, we saw more sides to what Enzo's trying to do. And I think what you're seeing with Enzo at Chelsea is that they're a lot more versatile, and like he's very flexible with his systems, and they use transitions a lot more than what you might think. So I think we would have seen a lot more sides. I think there's a lot of potential with Enzo, as you can see, because they're in the top 4. I know they've had a dip in form recently, but I see them being in the top 4 by the end of the season. And I think he's just like an unbelievable coach, and could be a really good manager one day. And it's a shame that he had to leave. And
well, Chelsea in a total race.
I think that maybe I think they just need the proper goalkeeper. I don't think they really trust Sanchez at all. And just an experienced defender just to calm things down when it's and not make things too hectic and just give a bit of organisation into that back line. The loss for Fana recently, and it's all a bit chaotic and hectic and stuff. So I think he'd push for that in the January window, and then maybe there could be a surge in the second half of the season. But I still think they'll get a top 4. So, and then maybe we could see more like as the season.
Niall, going back to the Brighton game, Morgan Rogers had an excellent game again. Best player on the pitch.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got so much confidence at the moment.
Yeah, he's been our best player by a mile this season, 100%. We'll probably discuss it later, but he's also probably the signing that we've made of the year.
Totally agree, yeah. And the way,
he will literally become an England player, I think, as in regular starter.
I mean, he deserves his call up. Just spoke to my Aaron about it, my friend. And look, he's enjoying to watch Morgan Rogers. I mean, the way he glides over the pitch, across the pitch.
Yeah, he's got that glide look, yeah. He's getting his numbers up now as well, because that was the only issue I thought with him early on in the season. I thought, he's easy on the eye, he's good to watch. He gets you up the pitch, etc. But the numbers were sort of lacking. But he seems to have got better with that now as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's handy having in your team. We're one of the best ball carriers in the Premier League. Yeah.
There's an argument that he's in the halfway through the season team of the season, I think. And they were doing it on Monday Night Football the other night, and I was shocked that he weren't even included in the conversation. He wasn't even in the conversation. I was shocked.
Yeah, I think he's one of my favourite players, actually, Rogers. One of my favourites.
No, he's looked absolutely unbelievable, to be honest. So, yeah, just like so the way he caresses the ball and then just drives forwards and just like so many chances. So, fully deserves an England's like call up, absolutely. So,
100%.
And yeah, is he suspended for the game on Saturday?
You mind you say that? I think he is. He got another yellow. Yeah, he's not playing. Yeah, actually, yeah. So that will be
good news for you. Good news for you, like that.
Yeah, no, I'm relieved of that.
So it's going to be interesting, actually, what we do. So what formation we're going to play, like how we go about it.
They might put Philogene in. I don't know. I know someone's bid for Philogene today.
Yeah.
I can't remember who, but someone has.
I think Philogene's had a poor season.
Yeah. I'll have to try and find out who it is. Someone's bid for him today. So I don't know whether that will make an impact on whether he'll play or not.
The big thing as well, though, I think we've got a squad at the moment. Niall, do you think we're missing a leader in there, do you think?
Well, my opinion on Tyrone Mings. I mean, I know it's obviously it was like a 12-month, well, it was over 12-month injury. So it's hard to sort of know how to sort of manage him coming back in the way he has. Because it was it was his best game since he come back was that Palace Cup game.
Yeah.
He was the best player. Then we played Brentford at home, and he was by far the reason why we won. Well, why he was good. I know he conceded at the end, but that was the most solid game we've played at the back for a long time. Even though we didn't keep a clean sheet, but then he doesn't become. Then he got injured at Forest in that warm up or whatever. And he hasn't sort of kicked on, has he? He hasn't managed to get himself back into the team.
Yeah.
Period, kind of thing. So, but that my opinion on him. I just think he's the leader in the side. Well, in the squad. So we have to get him back in for.
We need somebody like a Roy Keane type player.
Things we have though, we have got.
Or like somebody like Vieira, that sort of player.
Yeah, we have got that though. We've got Onana.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to have worked out. Really, he started really well. Obviously, he got that. He scored 3 goals in the opening 5 games, didn't he? Or something. One of them was against Leicester.
Yeah.
But he goes off after 60 minutes, and he's picked up injuries and whatnot.
Is injury prone?
Yeah, it hasn't quite worked. I don't think it's worked. First 2 or 3 months, yeah, but,
Mhm.
but
I think
he's
we
the
need a
type of
new
leader.
defender. Yeah. I think we need a new defender. Well, although we've been linked to a lot of players already. I think a Benfica centre back.
Mm.
We've been linked to that Dortmund striker, Marlon, I think his name is.
Yeah, I did see that today. To be fair, I don't know how good he is. I don't know whether he just starts at Dortmund or whether he's just like a rotation player for them.
Do you need someone who can win like those battles? But in the air, winning the defenders and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's a
So,
pretty
yeah.
easy striker, Daniel Marlin, and he's quite in and out of the side. So,
Mm.
but I think they've had to like shift him out wide. So I think you're good with like strikers. I think.
I
So
was going to say we don't really need a striker. We need like
Defensive there.
we need somebody in defence, a right
A
back.
right
for sure.
back.
Yeah, we missed a trick. I thought in the summer not getting Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I agree with that one actually. Yeah, I do like him.
But yeah, we definitely need to replace Diaby. We haven't replaced Diaby. I am of the view that you get a lot of Villa fans that make out that we're stronger this year, but I don't think we are because we haven't replaced Diaby. We had Zaniolo last year, who was another option.
Yeah, he was a
on
good
the wing.
option.
We had Clement Lenglet, who played for Barcelona. I mean, you don't play for Barcelona if you're crap.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we had him as a squad player. We haven't got him either this year. And then Douglas Luiz was always going to be a miss. I don't care what anyone says. I know we've
The
got
thing was-
Onana and Barkley, but his output was ridiculously good.
Oh, yeah, he had so much creativity. I mean,
Yeah,
the way he passed the ball, he even scored free kicks, penalties.
yeah. I just don't know how anyone can say that we're stronger this year. I just don't see how we are on paper. We're not, and it's proving that we're not.
Yeah. But one thing to mention about the game as well. With that Tyrone Lamptey, he was a big problem.
Mm,
His
good
pace.
player.
I knew before the game that he's going to be a big issue. And I think Brighton as well are a lot better with NC. So very dangerous outside the box. He was creative for Brighton. Their spark as well. So Brighton, they gave us a few problems.
Yeah, they just seem to just sell their best players and then just replace them with,
Quality.
players that are as good or end up being as good. I don't know how they do it because they don't
Credit to
spend
them.
big, do they? I mean, Pascal Gross left in the summer. I think where's he gone to? Dortmund, is he? Or
Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, and then he was probably their best ever Premier League player, and then they've brought in this one that you've just mentioned,
Yeah.
and he's just hitting the same kind of levels. It's just I don't know how they do it.
They got great. They got great scouts. They made a good profit as well.
Yeah,
yeah, you look at them and it's like, and they've managed to save up all the money from Caicedo and McAllister, and I think they spent it over the course of this summer just to try and massively improve squad depth and just think of contingency plans all over the place. So if one of them were to go, then they got a load of backups and stuff, and a load of new prospects to come into the team. The way they do business is fantastic. So now credit to them, and I wish we even had like a glimpse of that, but yeah, it's just a mess behind the scenes with us at the minute. So yeah, it's weird with Brighton though. I think they've had a bit of a poor month, I'd say. So yeah, from your end, you're probably looking at it and thinking, yeah, that's a real opportunity missed.
They hadn't won in 6 games. Everyone keeps going on about, oh yeah, it was a decent point because they're flying. They're not. They haven't won in 6 games before the game against Villa.
Yeah. So Amar, I was going to ask you. So we touched on it a little bit earlier. So what do you make of Ruben Nistelrooy?
Yeah, so I really liked him from the off. I just it wasn't the case of when he covered the 2 United games because well, actually 3 United games because 2 of them were against us, and yeah, absolutely, like we were just completely mismanaged from top to bottom, and it was very easy for his sort of United team to carve us open. It was more focusing on what he did at PSV and how he set them up to go on and continuously be top of the Eredivisie and stuff, and the challenges he was facing, and just like his style of play, I think it was more seamless from going from Enzo Maresca towards someone like Rudes. That could also be a bit
Yeah.
versatile and maybe use the counter press more, like set up in mid blocks, and just sort of assess like teams and find the best way to get results and stuff without really jeopardizing like how expansive we can be at times. And yeah, I don't have a problem with him. I think he's just I feel for him, to be honest. I feel like he just needs help. I feel like he needs pace in that back line, just to recover for. I mean, we have Yannick Vestergaard, who is brilliant on the ball. His passing array is outstanding, but just when he's partnered with Connor Cody as well, just is so like when we step up, it's just always a worry when it's like, because if you got like quick attackers and stuff, they can just very easily peel off the back of them. James Justin has been really struggling. I feel like we need some pace like with him. I just feel like he's just lost his mojo.
And did he get injured in the Man City game, did he? Did he just come off?
No, he got dragged. And then Hamza Chowdhury, because we knew he could play right back and stuff. He was just like having to cover him. I don't think.
Like James Justin, I'll write him. He's a good player.
Yeah, he used to be like before he's been so unlucky. He's really had a hard look with injuries. Like in the season we got relegated right before the World Cup, I think he was in such good form that he could have actually squeezed into the England squad, and that was after he had like an ACL injury. So it's just recovering from that. Then he had an Achilles injury, and then that just completely floored him. He was out for the rest of the season. Last season, I think he was really struggling to adapt to Enzo's system. He had to be shifted out to left back and just wasn't really sort of suiting what we were trying to do. We're hoping he just, for the sake of recovery pace against the attackers in the Championship, he somehow just got by. But I think he's really sort of struggled to, now that he's lost that yard of pace, he's had to sort of like give it a bit of a second thought as to how he goes and closes down attackers. But I think at the minute he's just being an easy target. So he's really been in poor form. I think he just needs a run out for side at the minute. But with Ricardo out injured as well, we just don't really have anybody else there just to sort of like cover for him. So at the minute it's just him at the minute.
Well, going back to Ruben Nistelrooy, but I'm thinking of his real Premier League legend. When getting an ex-player there, it's always a big gamble to take.
It can be, yeah. It's because you don't want to just buy the name and just see it as an attraction. I think it can come with some good sort of bits as well, especially when you're looking at recruitment in terms of the contacts he might know.
Was it the manager in Holland?
Yeah, PSV. So yeah, he was part of the youth setup there. He was coaching the kids in the academies. Then he got some education behind the scenes to sort of like educate himself on how boards sort of setups can run, and being in a technical director role and sort of understanding how that works. And then he got promoted to the first team as well to be the manager. And he did that for like just over a season, then left because he wasn't really being backed, and they sold like Noni Madueke and Gakpo in that January window, and he wasn't really happy with that. And so there was just some disputes with the board at the time. He then took the role at United behind the scenes, probably thinking Ten Hag's going to be sacked and he could sort of ease himself in. But then they went with Amar in the end, so he left, and that's how we poached him up. But yeah, it's you don't want to just buy a name, you just want to see like the methods he's using. But I am a fan of the methods that he does use, and I think you can use his sort of name a little bit to your favor, just for the sake of like, if any sort of strikers could come in, or anybody from Holland or around the league, they know they're being coached by someone who's been there and done it all, like been at the highest level, achieved great things. And that sort of mentality, just to sort of like being passed down in terms of the experiences, could help like footballers so much in so many ways. So I think it's a good thing as well. But I do hear your point that you don't want to just, because like with Wayne Rooney, with Frank Lampard and stuff.
Well, look at all that,
yeah, you could see how like it could very easily fall away.
Doesn't get nothing can really finish dry. He's one of the Premier League great strikers. When I was younger watching the Premier League, always remember the goals he scored for like Man United.
Normally against us.
Well, he's always against us, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think with Leicester City and Real Van Nistelrooy, they need to give some time to fix the problems. But I do think results need to change. The performances on the pitch. And the thing that I haven't liked about Leicester City the last few seasons, you have had much stability. They need to bring in more stability at the football club. I think with Leicester City, they don't really settled with any managers. But you had Maresca, then you had Steve Cooper, and then you got Real Van Nistelrooy.
I completely agree with you, mate. I just think it's pretty much been a merry-go-round. I don't really, and I think for me, unfortunately, to sort of like putting it onto
Yeah.
this, I think it really comes with the board and how it's in disarray at the minute. I'm not like there's pretty much radio silence when it comes to communications as to what their actual plans are.
Yeah.
We're already hearing like we had to sort of submit financial plans on New Year's Eve, and it's like there could be a risk of a potential PSR breach all over again as
Yeah.
to like the whole mess with the finances and stuff, and like that could come about. But just like the decision to appoint Cooper and the decisions that led us to being relegated with like not sacking Brendan Rodgers quickly enough when we knew it was all going south, the poor recruitment, just so many poor decisions with signing players and extending players' contracts on ridiculous wages, like Champions League wages money, like over 100 grand,
Yeah.
just for likes of Yannick Vestergaard, Ryan Bertrand, just players that are just nowhere near that sort of level, and and now we can't shift them at all. Like even if we're like we clearly
Yeah.
like there's so much of our squad that we want to sell, but they're not going anywhere because they're more than happy just to take their wages and sit around in the squads, and it's just so toxic at times. It's just it really brings down the level of where we once were, and it's just a continuation of poor decisions that really is sort of like building up to it. And I think last season we got through it and got like and won the championship just based on we had just too much quality for that.
And what it is as well, you need to have a good structure behind the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Just decisions like just like really key decisions, like being ruthless, just having a structure, having contingency plans. So for which player leaves, whichever manager goes, we have a continuation of our ideas, our philosophies, what we want to achieve, how we want to play as a footballing side, which sort of like profile of players that we're actually looking for. And it really was telling that they found it, I think, essentially maybe even stumbled upon it with Enzo Maresca, that it was the best out of all the candidates that we had. And then moving away from that completely, it was just a polar opposite to go to Steve Cooper just for the sake of results. And even that didn't pan out as we thought it would do. So it was just disrupted things completely. There's no real cohesion behind the scenes. I think the board are just like like pulling the clubs in just different directions as to where they actually want to go. And I think until that's resolved, and I think really like the fact that our owner pretty much wasn't a fan of Steve Cooper being appointed kind of shows them up as to how incompetent they really are. And I think like there's so many big problems on that board that need addressing. That we need a new director of football. We need John Robkin to go. We need a new chief executive, Susan Whelan, to go. And if it's really not addressed, then they can't like see themselves out of the financial mess that they're in. If we go down again, we're facing serious breaches and a transfer embargo, points deductions, because we pretty much got out of on a technicality of the points deductions for this season. So, but if we get relegated again,
you can't afford to.
That's it.
So I think Leicester City as well. I mean, what you need to do is you start back to basics. Improve the Nistelrooy. But I couldn't see though when I watched Leicester City. There's more energy in the team, I think. The belief is there. And I think what I like about Real Van Nistelrooy, he has lots of passion. And he knows how to play to his strengths.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot to like about him. I think I don't know whether it's just a natural step up that we finally got a competent coach that just can see tactical tweaks that need to be done in the game, can have versatility with his options. But I think just his ideas are already like springing our players into life a bit that actually want to be on boards. I think they're all pretty much are, and they want his ideas to work. So I think that's a positive at least. They seem galvanized and together. I think it's just a case of we just have some players that are just he can't really coach any further to pull off what he wants to do in the Premier League. So I think it's just investing in more quality and more positions. And if he does have a chance to do that, then I think we could be in a lot better place than where we are right now. But if not, and then I think it's going to be a really hard ask if like he has to deal with the squad that he's got at the minute just to try and like get us to reestablish ourselves in the Premier League. So I really hope he's backed. I really hope he can get some of his more of his staff in and maybe sort of seek contacts as well. Maybe in Holland, maybe at United as well, just to try and like address some sort of positions, maybe in the loan market, maybe if we did have some money as well. I think we'll have to see over the course of this month, but I think it's really crucial that he's back. Otherwise, I don't think we're really going to see the best of him, unfortunately.
Well, let's talk about the game on Saturday. So, Niall, what do you expect from Saturday's game?
Well, I'd expect us to win the game, to be honest. Nothing else would be acceptable to me. That's no disrespect. It's a team that's just been promoted. You know, they're down in the bottom 3 or 4. No, it doesn't matter what team Villa put out. We should, no offence, we should be beating teams like Leicester at home. End of, you know. So I'd expect us to get 3 points, to be honest. It's not like Leicester are flying, is it, either? I think Vardy, obviously, is Vardy going to be fit enough to play, or he's a threat? He
always scores against us, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I will say. Like, he's definitely going to be a threat, and even at the age of what he is as well. I mean, genuinely serious there. Yeah, we should be wiping the floor with Leicester.
Well, I think actually it's going to be very competitive. I think.
I hope. I hope so.
I think lots of tackles. I think he's going to go energetic with Jules. And I actually expect goals in this game. But the thing is with this fixture as well, we haven't got the best record at Villa Park against Leicester City. Can you remember that game? When Emery fought one of the early days when he took over?
Yeah. Yeah, 4-2, I think it was.
4-2, wasn't it? Yeah. So we haven't got like the greatest record. But this season, with the team we've got, we should be expecting to get 3 points.
Yeah, 100%. I think there'll be a few grizzles if we don't, to be honest. We've just got to come flying out of the blocks, and like we did against Man City, very similar. Yeah. But like you say, I don't know what we're going to do about Morgan Rogers with the suspension. That'll be interesting to see what he does with that. Obviously, Torres is injured now as well. You don't that Mings comes in as a direct replacement.
And John Duran is still suspended.
Yeah, well, less said about that, the better.
Yeah,
we need to get Konza back into the middle as well. I can't be doing with this Konza out at right back. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I prefer Matty Cash.
Well, at least he's a right back. But
yeah,
why doesn't he like this this Serbian young lad?
The Djokovic, he's only had any minutes this season.
Why doesn't he like him? Because he played quite well the first game of the season.
Yeah, I reckon personally, this window, or if not in the summer, he'll be loaned out, I think.
Yeah, I just don't understand it because it's his boy, and he put him in the first game.
No, I don't get it.
He done all right. And we struggle in that position as well. And he's a natural right back. He obviously doesn't rate Cash because Konza plays out there a lot.
Yeah, you're right about that. But from a Leicester City point of view, I think they should be encouraged going into this game. Because even though they lost against Man City 2-0, I actually watched the game. I think Leicester City performed well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a decent performance in parts. I think
Just
we
didn't
probably
take
had
a
a lot
chance.
more. Yeah. I think we had a lot more of a ball than what we expected. So we were able to sort of start our sort of like patterns of play in terms of what we wanted to do with the triangles and just like progressing forwards, using the channels a lot more. And we created quite a lot of good opportunities. But my fear was about that game. It was a lot of bite with no teeth, and it was just yes, we had the possession. Yes, we had like we're progressing forward with it, but when it came to dealing with transitions, we were easily carved open for both of their goals and the chances for us in the game as well. Like Vardy had
Jamie Vardy, he should have scored.
score. I don't know how I didn't score, especially the one from Avadidi's cross as well. I thought, why not just head it? And so I think with Vardy, he'll be fit for Villa. I'd assume so. But yeah, I think, and he's brilliant, and we know it, and we know he'll score chances again. But he can be hot and colds, and this was one of them where he's just on a cold day, and it's just a bad day for him. And it didn't fall the way it wanted to against Man City. We're kind of hoping it does against Villa. But I think we still got our main number one goalkeeper out, Hermansen, who's just been absolutely fantastic for us this season. Just passing, catching, shot stopping is just unreal. I think
He's a good goalkeeper.
really good, really good. I'm happy with Stolarczyk as the number 2. I think he's been decent. Just as long as Danny Ward is nowhere near the side, that's completely fine by me. Still without Ndidi, still without Ricardo, still without Fattery. He's out until the end of the season as well. So yeah, it's but I think there's still some holes in the team that we need to try and plug. But yeah, with Duran suspended, Rogers suspended, I think if we can sort of like dig in, because what I anticipate is you really coming out of the blocks from the start. So if we can just sort of hold in and keep ourselves compact and then pick our moments where we could start building ourselves into the game and really sort of catch you off guard and on the counter press, maybe, then maybe there could be opportunities for us there. So I think that would be the best way to go for us in any way. But I think,
think as well, set pieces are going to be important. I think Morgan Rogers will be a big threat to Leicester. He'll keep driving at the team, I think. We need to utilise him, I think. Ollie Watkins needs to get better service. I think John McGinn will suit this game, I think. He's, how competitive he is. And I think we're going to be careful with Jamie Vardy. The centre-backs need to stop him. Because, he likes to run in between the centre-backs. In behind, we have to watch out for that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think, with him, like, if he's allowed, like, he's still, even though he's lacking for pace, he can still have like a really good sense in terms of how he times his runs and stuff. I think he got it a bit off and was offside a lot against Man City. But if he can sort of like catch that moment where he times it really well, he could really sort of like go hidden, like past defenders, and then just like running behind and just completely catch them off guard and in front of goal and stuff. He can really bag it. Then that would just boost his confidence, and then he could have.
I like that Mavadidi. And I like that El Canoes.
Yeah, Mavadidi, I think just a really good for chance creation for us. I think it's just a shame not having Fatu on the right, so there's a bit more balance to our attack. El Canoes has really like shone, especially over this past month. Now he's been in the team. He's pretty much I'd say our best player at the minute. Samari as well, like I think has done well in DM, but I think his performance, Bilal against Man City, I thought it was sensational. It was mesmerising how he just orchestrated our team just to go and progress the ball forward. I think that's why we were doing so well in like for larger portions of the game against Man City. So he's really key for us. Mavadidi as well, if it like we could exploit that your right back position as well.
Yep.
Then we could find some opportunities to get ourselves into the game there.
Well, I'm going to get up on the screen at the Premier League fixtures. for Aston Villa because the new year started now. So let's just get some of the fixtures just when we start the new year. So Saturday we've got Leicester City at Villa Park. Then we've got the FA Cup then, which is going to be the 150th anniversary game, which is going to be a special game at Villa Park. Then we've got a late game on the Wednesday against Everton at Goodison Park. Then we go to at the Emirates Stadium. We go to Arsenal. Then we got Monaco in the Champions League. Then we got West Ham in the Premier League at Villa Park. Yeah. After the FA Cup game. As well, we've got Celtic as well in the Champions League at Villa Park.
Oh yeah.
So you said, no, how do you think we'll start the new year with those fixtures?
Well, are you asking how many points I expect us to get, or do you think? Are you saying like what I think will happen?
You can do both if you want. Yeah, both.
Well, you got to be looking at. I'd say you got to be beating Leicester, West Ham, and Everton. So
Yeah.
that's 9 points. You'd be looking. You can take a defeat at Arsenal. You know, I know we won there
Oh,
last
yeah.
year. Yeah,
We'll
they're in
we'll
small
lose.
place.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
know if we got beat there. It's obviously I think 4 points will do us in the Champions League to get through. I think we'll get that from them two
Yeah.
games.
it was a
and
great
then-
achievement. I think we're doing enough to get through.
Yeah, we only need 4 points to get top 8. I think. And West Ham in the cup, I actually think we'll get beat, but I don't know. It's one of them, and it's. I don't think Emery really prioritises the domestic cups. It doesn't look like he does since he's been in situ.
Well, yeah, well, Premier League, I think, and Champions League have been a vibe.
Yeah,
Priority.
so that's what I'd expect from all them. But I think we'll beat Leicester. I think we'll draw at Everton.
Mhm.
I've already said we'll go out the FA Cup. I think it's got a horrible feeling.
Yeah, we know
will-
Emery doesn't really fan of the competition.
Arsenal
FA
will
Cup.
lose. I think we'll lose to Arsenal. I think we'll beat Monaco.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
West Ham. I don't know. I'll see that one as a potential. I think they'll have a new manager. I think they'll have a new manager by then. I think we'll lose to West Ham
yeah.
at home, and then
West Ham, we got them twice.
we'll draw to Celtic because it'll all be over anyway. I think we'll do enough. I think we'll draw
So
that one.
we'll get tickets for that one.
Won't. Or
Against Celtic, I'll get tickets for that.
you are going, or
Yeah. Yeah, so, mate, yeah, okay. We're going to the next talking point then. So, one more Leicester question. So, Amar, do you think Leicester City will stay up this season?
$1 million question, isn't it? It's oh god. I think we really need to be back. I think Rude definitely needs to be back this January window. I think we definitely need a left-sided centre back. We definitely need a full-back. I'd say try and address like a right winger and possibly a striker as well. Maybe in the and try and exploit that loan market. And really it needs to be early. And this is like, but we don't really sort of take to January windows well, not under this board anyway. So it's it'll probably be all last minute. It'll probably be like try and get a discounted free, but still end up getting ripped off anyway. It'll be like the scraping the barrel just to try and like see if like what sort of quality there is rather than going for our ideal targets and stuff because we're trying to skimp and save. But yeah, and it's just like it will just be poorly planned and poorly disorganized. And I hope there's like we could just somehow stumble across some quality. I think just defense mainly. I think if we can just properly address the defense and like if there were the potentials for our budget to go and buy players, I think just prioritize the defense and then try and see if there's like anybody out of favor at bigger clubs or look into the European market. Again, going back to Rude, see if there's like scouts in Holland that are sort of scouting some players and see if we could get any sort of cheap gems, if that's a possibility. it like if we can address the positions and ideally as well, like we need players to really just come straight into the first team,
Yeah.
and like there's not really a lot of depth like beyond the 11. There's not really players that are if it's all going south against Villa on Saturday, then it's just gonna like there's absolutely nothing we can bring off the bench to try and change the outcome of the game.
Well, realistically, I think it's going to be a hard task for Leicester. But I hope this doesn't upset you, but I actually predicted at the start of the season, I predicted Leicester City to go down. And just because I think the only thing as well, because the Premier League title is very congested at the moment. And I think it's going to be difficult.
I think it's tough as it is. If we're sticking with this squad, then yeah, it's down. I agree with you. I thought like we had enough quality to sort of like pitch ahead, maybe against a Wolves or an Everton. I was going to say Forest, but now they're second or third or something. They're just absolutely flying, so no chance. And but yeah, really the only team I'm seeing left that we could try and like get above is Wolves. Even that's a hard task at the minute. Ipswich are ahead of us, so we really need to invest in quality. If we don't, then yeah, we're definitely down, and I don't really see the point in the second half of the season, which is sad to say. But maybe if Rude could work some sort of magic and a miracle in this window, then I still have. And maybe it's me with my club, but I think maybe just if we could hang ourselves in there, I think we've got a decent run of fixtures towards the end of the season, and hopefully Rude can get his ideas in then to like decent players in the team. So maybe we could just stay up and get in 17th. But I think maybe that's wishful thinking. But I'll say for now, yes, we can stay.
And the Premier League as well. It's a very unpredictable league. I mean, you get a few wins, you're right up there. I think as well with Leicester City, your home form is going to be very important.
Absolutely. I think Gary Carragher might have said this. Like, there's no real feel-good factor because there's so much disputes from our fan base towards our board at the minute, and there's no sort of clarity. There's no sort of update. We're not really sure which direction we're heading in. At least, like, if we see some sort of positive direction with the team, and if that could start with any sort of result going our way, like if it was a win, like that could change everything. And then with Wolves and Ipswich, if they end up losing, then we could be out the relegation zone just off one win. So it's still tight on the points front, and then maybe that could kickstart the second half of the season. Again, wishful thinking, but I think if we points wise, if we can keep ourselves in it, then maybe we could stand a chance if we have enough quality. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I suppose it's tough to say, but
well, before me and Niall get on to the best moments of Aston Villa's year. So, Amar, before I let you go, what's your score prediction?
How brave am I feeling? Oh God. Yeah. I might be naive here. Because Villa, like, yeah, even if you guys have a good day, you could actually like steamroll through us and stuff with our defense. I think there's got to be some point where we take the positives, like even if it's little from the last few performances, and try and make it all work together in this game. I hope it's this one. I'll say a draw. But like I think it could be like you might be right what you said earlier. I think there's goals in this game, definitely. I think there's like I'm gonna say 2-2. And I think
Noah, what are you gonna go with?
I'm gonna go Villa to 0. I think we're due a clean sheet, so I'm gonna go Villa 2, Leicester 0.
Well, I'm gonna go 3-1 home win. Well, yeah, well, thank you, Amar. You've been a great guest. So, Amar, so if everyone wants to find your podcast, where can I find you?
So yeah, no, pleasure for having absolute pleasure coming on here, lads. So yeah, we're on Fossehub, and you can catch us on playback, and with Fossehub as well, like with any sort of like Leicester news and transfer updates and stuff like that. And like we'll come on streams and then talk about, like, especially we'll be busy over the course of this window talking about the January window. So catch us on playback on there. And just come and check us out. Get yourselves involved in the chat if you'd like to, and come and say hello, or just even speak your thoughts on just football in general. That'd be amazing.
Well, thank you, Amar. You're all right to go now.
Perfect. No, cheers for having me, lads. No, should be a good one on Saturday.
No, we can see you later, Amar.
Yeah, take care, lads.
Yeah.
Well, Niall, we're come to the end of the show then. So I'm going to talk about the highlights of the year from last year.
Yeah.
So first of all, what's your best moment of 2000?
Well, I've got a couple, to be fair. So there's the obvious one, Champions League qualification. It was a shame we weren't playing when it actually happened. It happened at the awards night, didn't it? I think. Was it the penultimate game of the season or something? Or
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah.
Tottenham were playing Man City. Yeah. So even though Villa weren't playing, I'd say that that moment happened because I've been wanting to see Villa play in the Champions League since I was going as a kid. So that was like a dream come true. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2 in the April. And
was you there? Did you go to that game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went to that game. I wasn't going to go as well. I got a ticket last minute, and I thought, yeah, I'll go. You know, on the off chance. And I think Arsenal had like won something like 11 in a row or something at the time. And yeah, but we also.
We did a double over Arsenal.
Yeah, but I don't think we actually played that well in the game at Villa Park. But just going there and winning 2-0 and stop, we really did stop them winning the league, really, because in the end, the points that they would have needed was against us. It was only a game they dropped points in. They didn't want to drop points in because they drew at Man City and they would have taken a draw there. They won every other game in the second half of the season.
That's it. You got Leon Watkins scored.
Yeah, honestly, it was so good. I don't like Arsenal. I'll be honest. So I was quite glad to see them not win the league on the basis of that. And then, and then obviously beating Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, actually, that was one of the best moments. Actually.
Yeah, so that'd be my top 3.
And also, in that game, we performed very well. And we were far the better team on that day.
Yeah, I suppose you were in terms of the all-round kind of performance. I mean, I know we didn't have as much possession as them, but in terms of winning individual battles and stuff like that, and we were definitely we won the game as well. All that matters is putting the ball in the onion bag.
And history repeated itself. 42 years later, and we go and do it.
I think we played a bit better than we did in Rotterdam and Villa Park, in fairness, as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I've got, obviously, the best moments of 2024. Qualified for Champions League. Because as a Villa fan, that was something which I never thought was going to be possible. And Emery made it possible. And I think last season, we deserved to finish in the top 4. Then the other one I've got is semi-finalists in the Conference League against the Olympiacos.
Oh yeah.
A shame the guy didn't go to plan.
Yeah.
And doing the double over Arsenal, that's my one as well.
Yeah, so that game in particular, yeah.
And also that Man City performance. And they beat them this season, but
the one this season? It was 2023, though, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah, forgot about that.
To be fair, though, now you've mentioned it, the one from the other week would have been up. That would have been.
No, that's it. No, 2-1. The 2-1.
That would definitely be 4th on mine if I had a top 4, because especially with the whole Grealish thing at the end, and when he was, biting at what we were singing and stuff, and
probably that would be what Villa Park this year.
Yeah.
But last year, yeah. Yes, also, he was the best signing in 2024.
It's hard not to say Rodgers, really, isn't it? I mean, he was looking like Onana, maybe, but he just fell off.
Yeah, me too. I think Morgan Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if you look at the whole season last year, he was for the overall one of our best performers.
Yeah, towards the end he was. Yeah,
We saw him in January like last year. Actually, look at Emery who he's brought in. That's one of Emery's standout transfers.
correct. I didn't think he'd be as good as he is, especially coming from the level that he's come from. I'm not really keen on buying from the Championship, really. In an ideal world, but it was in Man City's academy. In fairness, as well, you're not in Man City's academy if you're not a good player. So
I've got one more as well. So, who do you think was the best player for Aston Villa in 2024?
I've got a few names, to be fair. I can't decide between this. It's hard because some don't even have only been starting recently. So I've got obviously Morgan Rogers, Yuri Tillemans, Luca Dean, John Duran, and Ollie Watkins. I know where people will slag Ollie Watkins off, but he's still the vocal point up front. He still gets double figures every season. It's hard to. I can't knock him, but I can't really split any of them. If I had a gun to my head, I'd probably say Tillemans.
But I'm going to be Yuri Tillemans as well.
Yeah.
I just think he's got excellent vision. I think he's really influential to the way we play that midfield. In that double pivot, into the heart of it.
Yeah.
I just think that Yuri Tillemans, it was a free transfer as well. For Leicester City.
I always rated him even when he was at Leicester. I mean, he scored in an FA Cup final. I remember that goal he scored.
That was screaming, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's a class act, to be fair. I mean, he's probably... You ask Belgium fans, people of Belgium, who they think's their best player, and they'll tell you Yuri Tillemans. With all the players that they've got, the golden generation, they all say that Tillemans is their favourite player.
He's a consistent performer. And he gives so much control. You always see Tillemans is always working hard. There's not really a game with Tillemans. I know sometimes he's not at his best all the time. But he never really has a bad game, really.
Yeah, he's always looking for that killer pass, and players like that are going to sometimes go missing. That's the thing. He's a risk taker. That's what I like about him.
And I like him at the set piece in the corner kicks.
Yeah.
And he's dangerous also outside the box. When he shoots, he can definitely shoot. Well, yeah, mate, Niall, it's been great having you on the show again. And it's always enjoy listening to your thoughts.
Yeah.
And it was a nice way to start the new year with this podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. And Happy New Year to you and your family as well.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Do you hope 2024 brings you joy and happiness?
Thanks, mate. Same to you as well. And obviously, keep up the good work with the podcast.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe. If you haven't, hit the like button. Make sure to give it a share. And give us a good review on audio platforms. So give us 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Well, thank you so much, Niall. And I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever and up the Villa.